My name is Ethan Carter, and before everything fell apart, my life felt simple. I lived in Denver, Colorado. I worked as a construction engineer. Every long day ended with one dream in my mind. Emily Brooks. Emily always laughed when I talked about the future. "You're already planning our house again?" Emily asked with a smile. "I already know where the kitchen goes," I replied. Emily laughed. "What about the bedroom?" "I know that too." Emily crossed Emily's arms. "Tell me. I'll keep that a surprise." Emily rolled Emily's eyes. "You're impossible. I prefer romantic." Emily stepped closer and squeezed my hand. "I don't care where we live," Emily whispered. "As long as we're together. I promise we'll always be together." At that moment, I believed every word. Ryan Mitchell interrupted by clearing Ryan Mitchell's throat. "Can married people stop acting like teenagers?" I laughed. "We're not married yet." Ryan grinned. "Close enough." Ryan had been my best friend since elementary school. We had survived school, college, bad jobs, broken cars, and terrible apartments together. Ryan felt more like a brother than a friend. Ryan slapped my shoulder. "So, world traveler. I'm leaving for work, not vacation. Same thing if someone else pays." Emily frowned. "I still don't like this overseas project. It's only a few months." Emily looked into my eyes. "Promise you'll come home." "I promise." Ryan smiled. "I'll keep Emily busy until you get back." "I know. I'll even stop Emily from watching those sad movies every night." Emily laughed. "Nobody asked Ryan Mitchell to become my babysitter. I'm volunteering." I hugged Emily tightly. "I'll call every day." "You better." "I mean it." "I know." The airport goodbye lasted longer than I expected. Emily refused to let go. "I already miss you," Emily whispered. "I haven't even boarded." "Doesn't matter." Ryan chuckled. "If Ethan Carter misses the flight because of kissing, the company will fire Ethan Carter." Emily finally stepped back. "Go. I love you. I love you more." Those words stayed inside my heart long after the plane disappeared into the clouds. The bridge project stood near a mountain valley thousands of miles from home. The job looked difficult but exciting. Engineers from several countries worked together. Every evening I called Emily. "I miss home," I admitted during one call. Emily smiled through the phone screen. "Only 2 more months." I've started counting hours. Ryan suddenly appeared behind Emily. "Stop being dramatic. I'm talking to my girlfriend." "I know." Ryan stole the phone. "Bring me something expensive." "I'll bring Ryan Mitchell a rock." "I'll sell the rock." Emily grabbed the phone back. "Ignore Ryan Mitchell." "I always do." Emily smiled again. "I can't wait to see you." "Neither can I." That became our routine. Work, phone calls, dreams, hope. Then everything changed. The morning began like every other morning. Workers checked equipment. Machines started. The bridge shook slightly. Nobody looked worried. One supervisor shouted across the site, "Everybody stay focused." Another engineer frowned. "Did anybody feel that vibration?" I stopped walking. I felt something. The ground trembled again. A loud crack echoed through the valley. Someone screamed, "Run!" Steel cables snapped. Concrete exploded into the air. The bridge twisted like paper. I heard people shouting in different languages. "Move! Get out! The supports are failing." Dust covered everything. I couldn't see more than a few feet. A massive beam crashed beside me. The impact threw me across the platform. Pain shot through my shoulder. I struggled to stand. Another explosion shook the bridge. The ground disappeared beneath my feet. I fell. Cold water swallowed me. The current pulled me deeper. I fought to reach the surface. I can't die. The river slammed me against broken metal. My vision blurred. Everything turned dark. Voices floated through the darkness. "Is Ethan Carter breathing?" "I think so. Keep pressure here." I tried opening my eyes. Nothing made sense. Bright lights blinded me. A woman leaned over me. "Can you hear me?" My lips moved. "What happened?" "You were rescued." "Where am I?" "A medical camp." I stopped speaking. Something felt wrong. The woman looked concerned. "Do you remember your name?" Silence. I searched my mind. Nothing. No face. No family. No home. Fear filled my chest. "I don't know." The woman sighed softly. "It's okay." "No." My voice shook. "It's not okay." Another doctor stepped closer. "You suffered a serious head injury." "Who am I?" "We're trying to find out." "Where is my family?" "We don't know yet." Panic spread through my body. "I need to call somebody." We couldn't find identification. My phone. Destroyed. My passport. Missing. Everything vanished. Even my own memories. Days passed. Maybe weeks. I couldn't tell. Doctors asked the same questions every morning. Do you remember anything? No. Any names? No. Any places? No. Every answer felt like another failure. At night, I stared at the ceiling. Somewhere, somebody had to be waiting for me, but I didn't know who. Thousands of miles away, another conversation changed everything. A company representative knocked on Emily's door. Ryan stood beside Emily. Emily looked confused. Can I help you? The representative lowered the head. I'm very sorry. Ryan frowned. What happened? There was a catastrophic bridge collapse. Emily's face turned pale. No. We searched for survivors. Emily stepped backward. No. We recovered many victims. Ryan grabbed Emily before Emily fell. Ethan Carter wasn't found. Emily started crying. What does that mean? We believe Ethan Carter died in the accident. No. Emily's voice broke. No. Ethan Carter promised to come home. Ryan stared at the floor without speaking. The representative quietly handed over official papers. Emily pushed the papers away. I don't want those. I'm sorry. You made a mistake. I wish that were true. The door closed. Silence filled the room. Emily collapsed into tears. Ryan wrapped careful arms around Emily. Neither Emily nor Ryan knew the truth. I was still alive, but somewhere in a remote medical camp. I couldn't even remember my own name. The world buried Ethan Carter long before Ethan Carter had the chance to come home. The first memory came without warning. I woke before sunrise, staring at the ceiling of the small clinic where I had spent months recovering. Rain tapped against the windows. My head hurt, but something hurt even more. A smile. Soft brown eyes. A voice. I love you. I sat upright. Emily. The name escaped my lips before I understood why. A nurse hurried inside. What happened? I remembered someone. Who? Emily. The nurse smiled. That's wonderful. My name. I pressed both hands against my head. My name is Ethan Carter. The nurse nodded. I'll call the doctor. The doctor arrived minutes later. You remembered? My name is Ethan Carter. What else? I lived in Denver. Anything more? I worked as a construction engineer. The doctor smiled. Keep going. My girlfriend. I closed my eyes. Emily Brooks. Every word unlocked another memory. The airport. The bridge. Ryan Mitchell. The promise. I have to go home. The doctor's smile faded. It won't be easy. I don't care. You lost every document. I'll replace everything. The company that hired you no longer exists. What? The company declared bankruptcy after the accident. I stared at the doctor. So nobody knows I'm alive? We reported every survivor. Then why hasn't anyone found me? We don't know. I need a phone. We'll try. The doctor handed me an old cell phone. I dialed the only number I could remember. Nothing. I tried again. The call failed. Again. Nothing. Please. I whispered. Answer. The doctor gently lowered the phone. The number may not exist anymore. It has to. 10 months have passed. My heart skipped. 10 months. You were unconscious for weeks. I couldn't breathe. Emily had spent almost a year believing I had disappeared. I have to leave. You still owe medical expenses. I'll work. You aren't strong enough. I don't have a choice. The doctor sighed. I understand. I found work repairing buildings in a nearby town. The pay barely covered food and rent. Every dollar I saved carried one purpose. Home. Every evening, I asked the same question. Can anyone help me contact the American Embassy? Most people shook their heads. One old worker answered kindly. Without identification, the process takes time. How much time? Months. Months became another year. Paperwork disappeared. Applications were rejected. Offices closed. Rules changed. Hope faded. One afternoon, I slammed my fist onto a desk. I filled out every form. The government worker remained calm. I'm sorry. I've proven my identity. We still need verification. My family can verify everything. We can't contact anyone until your case moves forward. When will that happen? I don't know. Every answer sounded exactly the same. I don't know. Meanwhile, life continued in Denver without me. Emily stood beside my grave marker, holding fresh flowers. There isn't even a body. Emily's voice trembled. I still come every week. Grace Brooks stood quietly nearby. You can't keep doing this forever. I made Ethan Carter a promise. You didn't promise to stop living. I promised forever. Grace touched Emily's shoulder. Forever doesn't always happen. Emily wiped away tears. I still hear Ethan Carter's voice. I know. I still expect Ethan Carter to call. Grace hugged Emily. I miss Ethan Carter too. Emily cried against Grace's shoulder. I don't know how to move on. You don't have to forget. I don't want anybody else. I'm not asking for that. Grace smiled gently. I'm asking Emily Brooks to live. Ryan visited less often at first. Every visit felt uncomfortable. Ryan never knew what to say. One afternoon, Ryan carried groceries into Emily's apartment. You forgot to eat again. I'm fine. No. Ryan placed the bags on the counter. Emily Brooks isn't fine. Emily forced a weak smile. I'll survive. You don't have to survive alone. Emily looked away. I hate quiet. I know. I hate coming home. I know. I hate waking up. Ryan frowned. Don't say that. I'm tired. I know. Ryan sat across from Emily. I miss Ethan Carter too. I know. I keep thinking. Emily hesitated. What if Ethan Carter suffered? Ryan lowered Ryan's eyes. I've asked myself that every day. What if Ethan Carter waited for help? I don't know. What if Ethan Carter was scared? Ryan couldn't answer. Silence filled the room. Finally, Ryan spoke. I wish I had gone on that trip instead. Emily looked surprised. Don't say that. I mean it. Ryan's voice cracked. Ethan Carter deserved a better friend. Emily reached across the table. You were always a good friend. Ryan didn't believe those words. Deep inside, guilt had already started growing. Ryan had accepted every official report without asking enough questions. Ryan trusted the company. Ryan trusted the investigators. Ryan never searched beyond the answers everyone accepted. That silent regret followed Ryan everywhere. Years slipped away. I worked construction. I carried bricks. I poured concrete. I fixed roads. I painted houses. Every paycheck brought me one step closer. Every setback pushed me 2 steps back. Sometimes I wanted to quit. Then I remembered Emily's smile. I'll come home. I repeated those words every morning. One winter evening, my supervisor called me over. Ethan. Yes. I have good news. What happened? A legal office finally approved your documents. I stared at the envelope. You mean, you can travel? My hands trembled. I can go home. The supervisor smiled. You earned this. I thanked everyone at the job site before walking outside. Snow covered the streets. I looked toward the dark sky. I'm coming home, Emily. Back in Denver, another conversation quietly changed everything. Ryan stood outside Emily's apartment, holding flowers. Emily opened the door. What are those for? I thought Emily Brooks deserved something beautiful. Emily laughed for the first time in months. You always buy the wrong flowers. I know. You still keep trying. I know. Emily smiled again. Come inside. Ryan entered. Neither of them noticed how naturally life had begun placing them side by side. Friendship slowly replaced silence. Comfort slowly replaced loneliness. Neither Emily nor Ryan planned for anything more. Neither Emily nor Ryan wanted to betray my memory. Life simply kept moving while my world remained frozen thousands of miles away. 10 years after the bridge collapse, I stood inside an airport with one suitcase and a boarding pass. The announcement echoed through the terminal. Final boarding call. I took one long breath. My promise isn't broken. I stepped onto the plane. My heart raced faster than ever before. After 10 endless years, I was finally going home, believing the people I loved were still waiting for me. The plane touched the runway just after sunrise. I closed my eyes as the wheels hit the ground. I'm home. Those 2 words carried 10 years of hope. The airport looked different. New stores, new signs, new faces. Everything had changed except my heart. My first stop wasn't a hotel. My first stop wasn't my old apartment. My first stop was Emily. The taxi driver smiled through the mirror. First time in Denver? I smiled. No. Business or family? Both. I hope somebody's waiting. So do I. The ride felt endless. Every street brought back another memory. The coffee shop where Emily and I spent rainy afternoons. The park where I asked Emily to be my girlfriend. The bookstore where Ryan laughed because I spent an hour choosing the perfect birthday gift. Everything looked familiar. Everything felt distant. The taxi stopped outside Emily's old apartment building. I stepped out with shaking hands. The building manager stared at me. Can I help you? I'm looking for Emily Brooks. The manager frowned. Emily Brooks moved years ago. My heart dropped. Do you know where? I think Emily Brooks lives across town now. The manager scribbled an address onto a piece of paper. Thanks, friend. I smiled weakly. Something like that. The house surprised me. It wasn't large. It wasn't expensive. But flowers covered the front yard. Children's toys rested near the porch. A small bicycle leaned against the fence. I smiled. Emily always wanted a garden. Maybe Emily had finally built the peaceful life we dreamed about. I walked toward the front gate. Then the front door opened. Emily stepped outside. My heart stopped. Emily looked older. A little more tired. A little more mature. But Emily was still beautiful. I almost called out. Then another person walked outside. Ryan. Ryan smiled at Emily before handing over a cup of coffee. You forgot this. Emily laughed. I always forget. Ryan gently brushed a loose strand of hair away from Emily's face. The simple gesture hit me harder than any punch. Then I saw it. A wedding ring. On Emily's hand. Another wedding ring. On Ryan's hand. The world became silent. No. I whispered. No. A little girl suddenly ran through the front door. Daddy. Ryan opened both arms. There comes my favorite troublemaker. The little girl laughed as Ryan lifted the child into the air. Emily smiled. Careful. I've got Lily. Lily. The little girl hugged Ryan's neck. Can we go to the park? Ryan laughed. If Mommy agrees. Lily looked at Emily. Please. Emily smiled. Finish breakfast first. Okay. Ryan kissed Lily's forehead. My legs refused to move. Every dream I carried home shattered in front of me. I stepped behind a tree before anyone noticed me. My chest hurt. I couldn't breathe. 10 years. I survived 10 years just to arrive too late. I checked into a cheap motel that evening. Sleep never came. Emily's smile. Ryan's hand. Lily's laugh. The wedding rings. Every image repeated inside my mind. I punched the wall. Why? Nobody answered. I grabbed my phone. Ryan's number still existed. My finger hovered above the call button. No, not yet. I needed answers first. The next morning, I returned to the neighborhood. I watched from across the street. Ryan loaded groceries into the car. Emily carried shopping bags. Lily skipped beside them. Daddy, I'm coming. Ryan smiled. What did Lily Mitchell forget now? My teddy bear. Ryan laughed. The world's biggest emergency. Emily shook Emily's head. You spoil Lily Mitchell. I know. And Lily Mitchell knows it. I definitely know it. All three laughed together. The sound felt like glass cutting through my heart. That should have been my family. That should have been my future. Instead, I stood alone across the street like a stranger. Later that afternoon, I walked into a neighborhood coffee shop. The cashier smiled. What can I get you? Black coffee. While waiting, I overheard two older customers talking. I remember Ryan Mitchell's wedding. So sad. I know. Everybody still missed Ethan Carter. My heart raced. The second customer nodded. Emily Brooks waited a long time. Almost 4 years. I thought Emily Brooks would never marry again. Ryan waited 4 years. That wasn't what I expected. The conversation continued. Ryan Mitchell practically saved Emily Brooks. Emily Brooks would have fallen apart otherwise. I guess life has to move on. The words echoed inside my head. For years. Not 1. 4. That night, I searched the internet. Most news articles about the bridge collapse had disappeared. Only short reports remained. Construction disaster claims dozens. No survivors found. Investigation closed. Something bothered me. I searched deeper. Nothing. Company records had vanished. Employee lists were incomplete. Photographs were missing. Even my name barely appeared. How is that possible? I whispered. The company had collapsed after the disaster. But somebody had removed almost everything connected to the accident. The next day, I visited the city library. An elderly librarian looked at me. Can I help you? I'm researching a bridge collapse from 10 years ago. Company name? I told the name. The librarian searched the computer. What? Several files were sealed. Sealed? That's unusual. Who sealed them? I don't know. My stomach tightened. Can anyone request those files? Usually only investigators. I thanked the librarian and walked outside. The cold air didn't calm me. Nothing about the accident made sense anymore. That evening, I parked near Emily's neighborhood again. I wasn't ready to speak. I just wanted to understand. As the lights turned on inside the house, I watched the family through the living room window. Lily sat on the floor drawing pictures. Emily cooked dinner. Ryan helped set the table. Everything looked peaceful. Then something unexpected happened. Ryan walked into another room alone. Ryan opened an old wooden box. Ryan pulled out a framed photograph. My photograph. Ryan stared at my picture for several seconds. I miss Ethan Carter. Ryan's voice was barely audible through the slightly open window. I should have asked more questions. Ryan lowered Ryan's head. I'm sorry. I froze. Ryan sounded broken. Not guilty. Broken. Before I could understand those words, my phone vibrated. An unknown number. I answered carefully. Hello. A calm male voice spoke. Is this Ethan Carter? My heartbeat stopped. Who is this? My name is Marcus Reed. Silence. I'm reopening the bridge collapse investigation. I gripped the phone tighter. What investigation? The investigation somebody buried. My pulse quickened. What do you want from me? I want the truth. The call ended before I could ask another question. For the first time since returning home, I realized my greatest enemy might never have been Ryan Mitchell at all. I barely slept after Detective Marcus Reed called me. Every question inside my head grew louder. If Ryan had lied, I wanted the truth. If Ryan had been innocent, I needed to know that too. By sunrise, I had made my decision. No more hiding. No more watching from a distance. I drove to Ryan's house and stood outside the front door. My hand shook before I knocked. A few seconds later, the door opened. Ryan looked at me. Ryan frowned. Can I help? Ryan stopped speaking. Ryan's face turned white. The coffee mug slipped from Ryan's hand and shattered across the porch. Ryan whispered, Ethan Carter? I looked straight into Ryan's eyes. I'm not dead. Ryan stepped backward. No, I'm standing right here. Ryan covered Ryan's mouth. This can't be real. It is. Ryan's eyes filled with tears. I thought. I know what Ryan Mitchell thought. Ryan looked frozen. I believed every report. Did Ryan Mitchell? I swear. Then explain everything. Ryan glanced inside the house. Emily Brooks and Lily Mitchell are visiting Grace Brooks. Good. Come inside. I walked into the living room that I had watched from outside only days earlier. Family photographs covered the walls. Each one hurt. Ryan quietly closed the door. Neither of us spoke for several seconds. Finally, I broke the silence. Did Ryan Mitchell know I survived? Ryan immediately answered. No. Did Ryan Mitchell ever search for me? Ryan lowered Ryan's head. I searched until the investigation ended. How long? Almost a year. Only 1 year. Ryan looked ashamed. The company, the police, everyone kept saying there were no survivors. So Ryan Mitchell accepted that? I didn't want to. But Ryan Mitchell did. Ryan nodded slowly. I failed Ethan Carter. Anger rushed through me. I trusted Ryan Mitchell more than anyone. I know. I trusted Ryan Mitchell with Emily Brooks. I know. I never wanted this. Then why marry Emily Brooks? Ryan closed Ryan's eyes. Because life kept moving. My life didn't. I know. I hated myself for loving Emily Brooks. I stared without speaking. Ryan continued. Every time Emily Brooks cried, I wanted to help. I asked Ryan Mitchell to help before I left. I remember. I never imagined this. Neither did I. Ryan's voice cracked. Emily Brooks refused every relationship. Then what changed? For years past, I stayed silent. Grace Brooks finally told Emily Brooks that waiting forever would destroy Emily Brooks. Ryan looked toward the window. I fought my feelings for years. But Ryan Mitchell still married Emily Brooks. I loved Emily Brooks. The words hit harder than I expected. Ryan continued before I could answer. But Ryan Mitchell never stopped loving Ethan Carter as a brother. I laughed bitterly. Brothers don't replace brothers. Ryan didn't argue. I deserve that. The doorbell suddenly rang. Ryan opened the door. Detective Marcus Reed stepped inside. Marcus looked at me first. I'm glad Ethan Carter came. I frowned. You planned this. Marcus nodded. Both of you deserve answers. Marcus placed a thick folder on the table. I reopened the bridge disaster because something never added up. Ryan looked confused. What do you mean? Marcus opened several documents. The official report claimed there were no survivors. I know. Marcus slid another paper across the table. This medical transport record lists one unidentified survivor rescued 12 hours after the collapse. I stared at the paper. My hospital. Marcus nodded. Exactly. Ryan looked shocked. Then why wasn't this included? Marcus answered quietly. Because somebody erased it. The room became silent. Marcus continued. The construction company faced billions of dollars in lawsuits. I frowned. So, if survivors existed, company executives could face criminal charges for abandoning injured workers. Ryan whispered, My God. Marcus nodded. Instead, executives reported everyone dead. I clenched my fists. They buried me. They buried the truth. Another knock interrupted the conversation. Marcus walked toward the door. A woman entered carrying another folder. Marcus introduced the visitor. This is Olivia Hayes. Olivia shook my hand gently. I'm sorry. Who is Olivia Hayes? I worked for the construction company. My heartbeat quickened. Olivia placed several old files on the table. I copied these before the company destroyed everything. I opened the folder. Medical reports. Rescue logs. Internal emails. One message caught my attention immediately. Survivor must remain unidentified until legal review is complete. Another email followed. Public announcement will state no survivors recovered. My hands started shaking. They knew. Olivia nodded. They knew. Ryan slammed a fist onto the table. They lied to everyone. Olivia looked down. I wanted to expose everything years ago. What stopped Olivia Hayes? They threatened prison. Marcus added quietly. Several witnesses disappeared after speaking publicly. I looked at both of them. So 10 years vanished because powerful people protected themselves. Marcus answered with one word. Yes. Before anyone could speak again, another car pulled into the driveway. Ryan looked through the window. Emily Brooks. My heart pounded. This wasn't supposed to happen. The front door opened. Emily walked inside carrying shopping bags. Emily smiled. Ryan Mitchell, Lily Mitchell wanted. The bags slipped from Emily's hands. Emily stared at me. The room became completely silent. Emily whispered, Ethan Carter? I couldn't move. I'm sorry. Emily slowly walked closer. No. Tears filled Emily's eyes. This isn't possible. It is. Emily reached toward my face with trembling fingers. The gentle touch felt painfully familiar. Emily started crying. I buried Ethan Carter. I know. I visited the grave. I know. I waited. I know. I never stopped loving Ethan Carter. Ryan quietly stepped back. Emily looked at Ryan. Did Ryan Mitchell know? Ryan immediately answered. No. Emily looked at Marcus. What's happening? Marcus handed the investigation file to Emily. Emily slowly read every page. The color disappeared from Emily's face. They knew Ethan Carter survived. Marcus nodded. They covered everything up. Emily read another email. Then another. Finally, Emily collapsed into a chair. They stole 10 years. Nobody answered. Emily looked at Ryan again. Ryan Mitchell wasn't lying. Ryan shook Ryan's head. I believed Ethan Carter died. Emily cried harder. I betrayed Ethan Carter without knowing. You didn't. I married Ryan Mitchell. You believed I was gone. Emily covered Emily's face. I'm so sorry. I wanted to comfort Emily. I wanted to hate Ryan. I wanted to scream at everyone. Instead, I stood completely still. 10 years of grief, love, guilt, and regret filled one room. Nothing could erase the damage. Nothing could return the life we had lost. Marcus quietly closed the folder. The company destroyed thousands of documents. Marcus looked directly at me. But enough evidence survived. I took a slow breath. What happens now? Marcus's expression turned cold. Now the people who stole 10 years from Ethan Carter's life finally answer for everything. The truth changed everything. But the truth couldn't give me back 10 years. I sat alone outside my motel before sunrise, holding the old photograph Ryan had kept inside the wooden box. The picture showed 3 smiling faces. Emily, Ryan, me. I whispered, what am I supposed to do now? No answer came. Only silence. Detective Marcus Reed called later that morning. The prosecutors want to meet. I'll be there. They're building a criminal case. Against the company? Against everyone responsible. I'll testify. Marcus paused. It won't be easy. Nothing has been easy for 10 years. I know. The courtroom felt colder than I expected. Former company executives sat together, avoiding my eyes. Lawyers surrounded every table. Marcus stood beside me. Ready? As ready as I'll ever be. The judge entered. Everyone stood. My name echoed through the courtroom. Ethan Carter. I walked toward the witness stand. One lawyer frowned. Mr. Carter, where have you been for the last decade? Trying to come home. The room became silent. Another lawyer spoke. The company believed Ethan Carter died. I looked directly at the executives. No. They reported what they knew. They reported a lie. Marcus handed another folder to the judge. Olivia Hayes stood and presented the hidden emails. Every document told the same story. Survivors existed. The company knew. The company stayed silent. One executive finally spoke. We acted on legal advice. I couldn't stay quiet. You buried living people. We protected the business. You destroyed families. No one answered. Hours later, the judge announced criminal charges against several executives. Some lowered their heads. Others looked angry. None looked innocent. As I walked outside, reporters rushed toward me. Mr. Carter, do you want revenge? I stopped walking. I wanted truth. Are you satisfied? No. Why not? Because justice cannot replace lost time. The cameras kept recording. I hope nobody else loses a life because powerful people choose money over humanity. Then I walked away. The news spread across the country. People called me a survivor. People called me a hero. I didn't feel like either. I felt tired. Very tired. Ryan asked to meet 2 days later. I almost refused. Then I remembered our childhood. I agreed. Ryan waited inside the same park where we spent countless afternoons as kids. Ryan stood when I arrived. Thanks for coming. I almost didn't. I understand. Neither of us spoke for a long moment. Finally, Ryan broke the silence. I lost almost everyone. I stayed quiet. My parents barely speak to Ryan Mitchell. I looked surprised. They blame Ryan Mitchell. My coworkers quit talking to Ryan Mitchell. Ryan swallowed hard. Some friends think Ryan Mitchell stole Ethan Carter's life. I sighed. I never wanted that. I know. Ryan looked toward the empty playground. But Ryan Mitchell blames Ryan Mitchell more than anyone else. Tears filled Ryan's eyes. I should have searched longer. You believed the investigation. I still failed. You made mistakes. I know. I can't change the past. I know. Ryan looked at me. Can Ethan Carter ever forgive Ryan Mitchell? I thought carefully before answering. I don't know. Ryan nodded slowly. That's fair. I don't hate Ryan Mitchell. Ryan looked shocked. I hated what happened. I hate the lies. I hate the stolen years. I took one deep breath. But carrying hate forever would steal whatever life I still have. Ryan quietly cried. I'm sorry. I know. Those words didn't erase the pain. But those words allowed both of us to breathe again. Emily asked to see me one last time. We met at the little park where our story had begun years earlier. Emily smiled sadly. I almost didn't come. I almost didn't ask. We laughed softly. The laughter quickly faded. Emily looked at the wedding ring. I don't know what to say. You don't have to explain. I still want to. I nodded. Emily wiped away tears. I loved Ethan Carter every day. I know. I never stopped. I know. I believed Ethan Carter was gone forever. I know. Emily looked toward the playground where Lily laughed with Grace Brooks. Lily Mitchell deserves peace. I agree. Lily Mitchell loves Ryan Mitchell. I know. I can't destroy Lily Mitchell's world. I smiled gently. I wouldn't ask Emily Brooks to. Emily cried. I dreamed about this moment for years. So did I. But not like this. No. Emily reached for my hand. I'm sorry. I squeezed Emily's hand one final time. So am I. Emily smiled through tears. I hope Ethan Carter finds happiness. I hope Emily Brooks keeps happiness. We hugged. Not as lovers. Not as strangers. Just two broken people saying goodbye to the life we almost had. When we stepped apart, both of us understood. Some love stories never truly end. Some simply become memories. Months passed. The criminal trial ended with guilty verdicts. Several executives went to prison. Families finally received answers. Victims finally received justice. Marcus smiled after the final hearing. We did it. No. I looked around the courthouse. We finished what should have happened 10 years ago. Marcus shook my hand. Ethan Carter changed many lives. I just wanted the truth. Sometimes that's enough. One afternoon, I stood on a hill overlooking Denver. The city looked different than the one I remembered. Maybe the city hadn't changed. Maybe I had. I opened my backpack and removed the old photograph. 3 smiling friends looked back at me. I smiled. Thank you. The wind carried the photograph from my hand. For a moment, I considered chasing it. Then I stopped. Some things are meant to be released, not recovered. I turned away from the wind and started walking. I didn't know what waited ahead. A new job, new friends, maybe one day even new love. For the first time in 10 years, I wasn't walking toward the past. I was walking toward tomorrow. The bridge collapse stole my memories. The lies stole my future. The truth gave me my name back. But forgiveness gave me something even greater. My life. I smiled as the sun rose over the city. My name is Ethan Carter. I survived. And this time, I'm finally going home.